Hey, what's up, guys? So really quickly, before I get into all the patch notes and stuff, because I know that for those of you that watch me, you like to see me yap about this for whatever reason. The GCX Charity Marathon is coming up on July 14th. I am actually kicking off the Charity Marathon this year. Believe it or not, our community raised more money than any other content creator led initiative for the entire week-long Charity Marathon. And it is all your guys' fault. We raised $375,000 for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital last year during that 4-day block of time, the vast majority of which was raised during the course of my own charity marathon block over that 4 hours, and I got the torch on my arm to commemorate it. We're going to do the same thing again this year, and I did make a community note about this, but while I understand that the misgivings of Iron Mace and things with SDF have not been all that great as of recent, they did approach me once again to ask if they could participate in this year's charity marathon, and I just want to raise some money for some kids with cancer, if I'm being completely honest. So I said yes. I don't have renderings of exactly what it is that they're planning on doing, but there is going to be at least 2 in-game skins, in-game items that you guys can purchase through Tiltify, just like we did last year, for a small donation that will go directly to St. Jude. I will not be streaming the game on my own Twitch channel. It will be streamed on GCX's Twitch channel. Iron Mace does not touch any of the proceeds. They have no say whatsoever over the funds. I'm actually the person setting the price point for the items that you guys would be able to obtain for the game if you want them. And they will all be done through a third-party site called Tiltify that sends the funds directly to St. Jude. Neither I nor Iron Mace will monetarily benefit from this in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Just for those people that might be worried about that kind of thing. This year, I do this to commemorate my aunt, who succumbed to a stage 4 sarcoma on her pulmonary artery a couple months ago. So this one's going to be different. Sorry, trying not to lose my shit. But anyway, it would be really cool if you guys came by the stream on the 14th of July at noon Eastern. I will be live for a 4-hour block of time where we will kick this off. And I will obviously do follow-ups with links for all of you guys that want to participate in it so the entire community can donate should they so choose. I would love nothing more than to beat the $375,000 that we raised. Since we did that over the course of the week, I have a goal for the community. I want to see if we could do $500,000 because I think that we can. On super short notice last year, we did this and over 4 days, and it was crazy. Now we have a week, and I have had months to prepare and try to put things in motion. So it looks like it's all coming together, and I would really love you guys to participate in that if you can look past the issues with Iron Mace, obviously. So anyway, onto the patch notes. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Onepeg. So it's like 2 a.m. I was getting ready for bed. Long day, trying to get things in order or whatever. And looks like the patch is coming early. We have this mid-season, mid-wipe, semi-wipe, I don't know. Right off of the rip, the first thing that I noticed is this. Fixed an issue where blocked attacks could pass through the shield. Does this mean that they finally fixed the shield block plane? Because if they did, that's kind of amazing. Fixed an issue with some weapons that could bypass shield guards and deal damage, and fixed an issue where the post-block animation could be skipped, the whole perfect block thing. Apparently that wasn't an intended mechanic, but now it's been fixed. Fixed an issue where Warlocks Phantomize and Druids Dreamwalk effects did not prevent damage from traps. Fixed an issue where if a Druid died in animal form and spectated their own body, the corpse would appear to keep moving. Fixed an issue where changes made to spells in the lobby might not be saved. So that was a huge pain in the ass, because we saw this with Sorcerer all the time. Fixed an issue where Sorks could exit the map using Electric Dash in the Inferno's Drain module. Fixed an issue where a player's position would appear to shift suddenly near the training dummy in the Ruins Barbican module. Let's see, what else? So Twitch drops are coming. That's Friday. Well, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I guess tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern is when it begins. To get all of the drops, it's now between now and July, I think 7th. Is it 7th or 11th? So it's between now and July 11th. You have to watch 11 hours worth of a Twitch stream between now and the 11th of July for whoever's streaming it. I put up a poll in the community section of YouTube, just asking if that's what people wanted me to do. I basically am kind of torn. I like Dune, but at the same time, I feel like if that's what you guys want from me, then I'll do it. So, without any snark or anything, like I genuinely just want to provide to the audience whatever it is that you guys want to see. So if you want me to stream Dark and Darker, I will do that. Otherwise, we'll go play something else. But anyway, the Awakened Mummy Boost event has begun. Discount applied to bandages and potions purchased from the merchant. Doubled the collector's buyback price for certain treasures. 1 new race and 2 new emotes have been added as cosmetic items. An in-game party system has been added. You can invite players to a party by pressing Y when you meet them in the dungeon. So that's kind of interesting. If you want to be nice, you can be nice and invite them to party, and then you party up like right off the rip. Kind of cool. Solo, duo, and trio modes have been unified. Try entering the game with a pre-made party or use the in-game party system. So it appears that the in-game party system, as you meet people as you're traveling, is what they're intending on doing now instead of doing the random matchmaking thing. Added a maintenance notice pop-up. New feature added to display PvP attacker information in the adventure results screen. Random matchmaking disabled. Random modifiers have been removed. So we'll have to see how this looks. You can now move, equip, unequip, and drop items in your inventory while in the resting state, except for items that require a casting time to equip. So that's kind of cool. You can put stuff on your belt and move things around. Added a Huntress and Nightmare Mummy merchants. Destroying unreinforced doors is now solely dependent on the impact power of a weapon and is no longer restricted by class or needing to equip the Crush perk. So probably the same as what we saw with ice blocks. You can smash them down if you have like a impact 5 weapon or higher. Let's say. Maybe Impact 4 will eventually break it, but it's probably going to take multiple hits like you would see with a crate. When kills occur due to special conditions, transformations, or perk, the kill log will more accurately display the reason. Random dungeon system has been applied to Ice Cavern and Ice Abyss. So this is also interesting because Ice Abyss had the big ice pillar in the center of it. So does that just mean that the other modules surrounding it are going to get shuffled, or are we talking like an ice pillar is going to get stuffed in a corner somewhere? Dual boss rooms restored in Ruins and Goblin Cave. The random dungeon system has been upgraded so fixed modules will always appear in specific maps. The Frost Mountain now features a blood freeze mechanic to discourage camping in high altitude areas. So no more playing Batman as a sorcerer. I'm guilty of this one. It was pretty fun at the time. It was good for a yuck laugh. It was some pretty cheap humor. But it looks like that's been phased out, so that's good. Extraction point timings have been rebalanced, so I don't know exactly what that means, but we'll see. Maybe this just means that the different timings are going to be off. The Dark Swarm Circle has been removed from the High Roller dungeons, so now we knew that they were going to remove the BR mechanic, and it is what it is. Previously removed field extraction points have been restored in the High Roller. All character skills, except for the Rogue's Pickpocket and Wizard's Magic Lock, are allowed in Adventure Mode. Dungeon recovery is now only enabled in Adventure Mode. So there's no more insurance on even normal dungeons. Crazy. In Adventure Mode, players who fall to their death will now be eligible for dungeon recovery. So if you are in Adventure Mode and you fall into the pit, basically, if you fall into a pit and die from that death wall, you will get your stuff back instead of not, which was how it worked before. The amount of each sub-boss monster spawns in the ruins has been rebalanced. The health for the Cave Troll and Cyclops have been increased. This is the 3rd time that they've increased the health pool of those guys. The attack patterns for Skeleton, Swordsman, Common, and Elite have been adjusted. The Gathering Hall is now divided by language instead of server regions and supports input in languages other than English. Updated low violence option to remove more blood from the game. Updated the VFX for Barbarians, Blood Exchange, and Morale Boost. Updated VFX for Clerics, Holy Aura, and Druid Sun and Moon and Life Bloom Aura, so they no longer visible in the darkness, so that's interesting too. Updated the VFX for Rogue's Rupture, Cutthroat, Ambush, and Hide. Updated VFX for Ale. Rank colors added to the adventure results screen. I'm wondering if the Ale VFX means that everyone is going to get more like woobly-eyed instead of what it was before, where you could turn down certain graphics effects and it would make it so that you didn't get motion sick. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Rank colors added to the adventure results screen, which I already said. Improved sound effects to be provided when receiving a new message in the lobby and dungeon. UI updated when entering the dungeon. Improved pop-up UI when returning to the lobby. Okay, now we're going to look at balance stuff. Vigor scaling has been adjusted, reducing overall max health base values. So it looks like it's going to be more shallow of a curve. You're not going to see crazy HP builds as much anymore, which you wouldn't see anyway because the random modifiers are gone, but you know what I mean. Damage multipliers for each body part have been updated as follows. So the head is now double damage. Body hits are 125% of normal. Arm and hands is 100%, and legs went from 60 to 75, and feet 50 to 75. I didn't even know there was a foot hitbox. I thought it was just legs. So yeah, this is interesting. A lot more punishing on the damage side of things if you're hitting heads. For fighter, counterattack's movement speed bonus changed from 10 to 5%, so slowing down fighter on counterattack. Sprint movement speed bonus changed from 15 to 10%, 15 to 10 per stack. So that's also interesting, slowing fighter down. Base strength for Barb lost 5 points. That's a lot. 5% damage is a lot. Resourcefulness changed from 7 to 12. Rage movement speed bonus changed from 12 to 7%. Savage Roar's movement speed reduction changed from 5 to 2.5%. And Achilles strike duration was increased by half a second to 3 seconds. So it looks like they're trying to make Barb a little bit weaker hitting and a little bit slower. Rogue-based vigor changed from 10 to 6, a lot more squishy. Agility 21 to 25, so they have a lot more movement speed compared to what they used to have in a base kit. The dexterity changed from 25 to 20, so they swing quite a bit slower. And resourcefulness going from 20 to 25, so a little bit better cooldown reduction. Ranger, backstep stat count reduced from 2 to 1. So backstep Spear Ranger finally sees a nerf. Very interesting. Warlock, anti-magic, magic resistance changed from 25 to 15%. Blood Pack's armor rating and magic resistance bonuses changed from 30 to 50 each. So that is also interesting. That's a lot more magic resistant armor. When a Warlock uses Blood Pack, they will now also be considered a demon race. Immortal Lament has been updated to prevent death from self-inflicted damage after transforming into a demon using Blood Pact. So Immortal Lament is the perk that prevents you from dying when you cast Warlock spells, because Warlock spells cost health. In this case, what they're saying is if you are in Blood Pact and you go down to 1 HP from the use of Blood Pact, it won't zero you out. Immortal Lament will prevent you from dying. That basically means if you are good enough, you can stay in demon form the entire run. This would actually make for a pretty cool challenge, actually. See if you could do like an HR dungeon in only demon form the moment that you spawn, and then you would have to use the Warlock E skill while in demon form in order to be able to heal yourself off of the mobs that you're hitting. That's actually kind of cool. I fuck with that. That's cool. Exploitation strikes duration changed from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. So now you have more potential to generate health off of the hits that you're making with Exploitation Strike, which is the Demon Form's E. Phantomize movement speed bonus changed from 5 to 10%, making them faster in Phantomize. And remember, Phantomize is cancelable. And they brought back Evil Eye. They brought back Evil Eye. Boys, I'm just saying. They brought back Evil Eye, though. You know what I'm saying? They brought it back. All right. Well, Druid. Nature's healing no longer scales with magical healing. Wow. Shapeshift Mastery's magical damage bonus penalty reduced from minus 50 to minus 25%. Rush's stat count reduced from 2 to 1. Oh my gosh. And cooldown reduced from 20 to 18 seconds. So they got rid of the double dash. Thank God. It's got a shorter cooldown, but they got rid of the double dash. Okay, we're moving in the right direction. Nature's Touch duration changed from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. Restore's duration changed from 10 to 8 seconds, and the heal amount changed from 30 to 20. So significant nerf on healing druids as well. Druid saw a pretty marked nerf all the way around. Now, this could also be because everybody's HP pools are going to be less. So the more healing that you have, naturally you're topping people off that much faster. Less of a health pool requires less healing to keep it active and up. It could just be in line with whatever the new stat allocations are. But again, this is one of those things that we're going to have to get our hands in. The cooldown of sorcerer spells updated to the following formula. Tier times 3 plus 9. The cooldowns are significantly higher. So like a tier 1 spell, would be 12 seconds instead of, what was the base cooldown on it before? Like 8, 9? So they're slowing down sorcerer spells by a considerable amount. Time distortion cooldown increased from 3x to 2x. Okay, we're bringing TD back in. I'm kind of digging this. Time distortion's debuff duration reduced from 6 to 5 seconds. Action speed bonus per stack changed from minus 6 to minus 5%, and movement speed bonus per stack changed from minus 2 to minus 1. Time distortion might actually be back on the menu, boys. That's interesting. Damage per fire arrow changed from 8 to 7. Okay, the fire arrow nerf makes sense. I mess with this. Magic staves and spell books and that kind of stuff, adding extra damage to fire arrow. It started getting a little bit too strong, so I'm cool with it. Okay, Reduce the weapon damage gap. So from white to legendary and unique, looks like they're gonna have like less of a damage scaling. We might end up seeing this whole like single point increase thing like we saw before. New armor rating curve and new armor rating stats for regular armor pieces. Improve the underlying hit detection system when blocking with a shield. We saw this already in the previous patch note. That's a huge change. If they've actually fixed the block plane, that completely changes the game. Players can no longer raise their shield again before fully lowering it, so you can't just right-click spam and like constantly be putting up in front of your face and doing like spammy block stuff, because that was causing like desync issues and people were getting blocks when they weren't supposed to. Improve the animation and collision of several weapons, including club, flange mace, lantern, shield, buckler, and the ceremonial staff. So it looks like they tried to make a serious pass on all of the hit registration problems that people have been experiencing with a wide variety of weapons and shields. Adjusted the counterattack damage multipliers for longsword, lantern, shield, and flute. I'm going to guess that it was reduced, because one of the biggest gripes that people had about the riposte damage was that it was too high and people were taking like ungodly damage, especially from longsword, especially with some of the shenanigans that people were pulling with like being able to like drag the longsword parry across the screen and get clinks when they weren't supposed to be. But unequipped bows will now be unloaded upon first entering the dungeon. Okay. All right. All daggers weapon damage decreased by 2. Warmaul weapon damage decreased by 2. Battle axe decreased by 2. Double axe decreased by 1. Morningstar move speed decreased by 5. Same with Warhammer, so they're more slowing. Longsword weapon damage base increased by 2. Longbow increased by 2. Crossbow increased by 2. That's crazy. Windlass crossbow increased by 4. Man, that armor curve had better be something. Because this, the longbow, crossbow, and windlass, I don't know if that was necessary. Those things were already brutal. Pavis move speed penalty changed from -25 to -50 and impact from 2 to 3. Warhammer armor pen reduced from 20 to 10%. Adjusted the primary attributes of many crafted items. Adjusted recipes for several craft items, include the ghost dust bag and poison bottle, and removed the previous boss summoning craft recipes. Welcome to the semi-wipe. All your previous items and gold have been reset. We've also reset your triumph level, so you have the opportunity to earn additional bluestone shards until the start of next season. So there's another 5 to earn. The adventure rank leaderboard is concluded for the season. A new leaderboard will not start until EA Season 7. Quest progression has not been reset with this semi-wipe. We've added a guest merchant with several all-purpose quests to keep advanced players busy for the remainder of the season. Finally, the new arena rank season will start on July 11th. So this still gives people, if you're trying to get cosmetic items out of the quests, you probably still have another 6 weeks, because they were talking like mid-August before we're going to see the next big wipe. This semi-wipe is not a wipe to introduce new content, but a mid-season reset of specific balance parameters to introduce a substantial shift in the design direction of the game. The actual content-specific wipe is scheduled to occur a little later this summer with the start of EA Season 7 in late August. Instead, it focuses on addressing balance with modifications to data and supporting features with a specific focus on the following 5 points. The power gear gap. Battles shouldn't feel hopeless just because of the difference in the grade of the gear. If we take the misgivings of Iron Mace off the table and look at this for what it is, like just a couple of players fighting it out in Dark and Darker, okay? I understand all of the background stuff, but I'm trying to look at this from the lens of just inside of Dark and Darker, people fighting each other, right? Power gear gap has been an issue. You see people complaining about it on Reddit constantly. There is a thread, 10 threads every day about how the gear gap is a problem, right? We know that people are pissed off getting gear checked. So I agree with the statement that battle shouldn't feel hopeless just because of the differences in the grade of gear. I think we all could agree that that is true. Now, how they implement it is the issue, right? So that being this statement, just because of all their bullshit, doesn't mean that that statement isn't true. It is. Loot value balance. At the same time, upgrading to higher gear shouldn't feel worthless either. We also, I think, can agree with that. We want better, cooler gear, right? So that way we feel like we're actually growing, a little bit of a power curve change. We want skills and tactics to have a little more influence in the outcome of combat and fix things that feel off in combat, like the shield block issue and the weapon registration, the hit registration. The outcome of battle shouldn't feel hopeless based purely on class matchups. Agree. The issue with the Druid being a perfect prime example. Now, whether or not they can actually pull off these bullet points is really the question. And that's what we need to see if it would actually happen that way. I have a feeling that it's going to be rough, but we're going to go in there and look at it, I guess. Finally, there should be ways to survive, either through combat or strategy, when a person doesn't have the luxury of entering the dungeon with a full party. We also want the dungeon to feel dangerous for everyone, not just the casual or outnumbered players. The second way introduces the basic systems that begin to address the above points. We've currently removed the previous random modifiers as they were the largest contributor to gear gap. Please note that although the random modifiers have been removed for the start of the semi-wipe, we may consider a different iteration during the many tests we have planned for the remainder of the season. The problem becomes, again, we've talked about this many times over the last 4 or 5 months with the back and forth stuff. I think that we've all kind of grown tired of the back and forth. We want them to pick a direction, have a well fleshed out, well thought out plan, and implement the plan instead of bouncing everything around like this. If this is the direction they want to move in, fine, commit to it. It's going to still alienate a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that are pissed, but for the love of God, stick to your guns. A large-scale adjustment to the armor damage curves have been normalized, the durability of characters, leading to less extreme and baffling combat results. Changes to the hitbox modifiers also give greater emphasis to attack precision, giving much more improved combat feedback. Good. A rework of the underlying blocking system also significantly improves the precision of shields and parrying. This rework of armors and weapons, along with adjustments to several perks and skills, makes it so more class matchups are viable across wider combat situations. To better support solo and duo players, we've added an in-game party system that allows players to organically form a party within the dungeon. I don't know if that's really going to work. The current gathering hall has been temporarily updated so players can find a party based on their language. High-impact power weapons can now destroy a door without needing to equip a special perk. Dungeon layouts have also been improved with certain fixed modules to provide POIs that adventurers can strategically congregate or avoid based on their circumstances. Please note that this is just a starting point. We plan to have many updates to build upon and polish the system. So what it sounds like with the module thing is that in every dungeon, let's say, the certain modules will be random, and then, like, let's say in Goblin Cave, for instance, the treasure room will be in the dead-ass center underneath the quad elevator room, or the quad elevator room will always be in the dead-ass center. And then to the northwest of the quad elevator room, there's going to be one boss. And then, off to the southeast, there's going to be another one, and a treasure room in between underneath it all. Maybe that is going to be like fixed placement stuff, and those 2, 3, 4 modules will always be in that fixed location, where all of the other ones around the outside of it will be random. It's kind of how it sounds, is that there's going to be very specific modules that will always be in the same spot. For people that want PvP, for those POIs, they will rush those and then fight each other like crazy. Maybe the treasure room in the center of Ice Cavern with the Yeti and all that will always be in the center of Ice Cavern. Those kinds of things, right? I'm cool with that idea. I think that that's fine. It also gives players the opportunity to be able to avoid those places if they don't want to go there. And it also seems like they got rid of the whole fog of war thing, because they aren't talking about that anymore. So maybe we can see the map when we pull the map up, and it'll work like that, and we know where we're going to go. I'm hoping. They are taking the BR circle away, so maybe fog of war with the BR circle gone is sort of kind of fine. But, again, it's one of those things we have to play with and see how it's going to work and what it's going to look like. But, okay, so impressions, and I will catch you all in the morning and try and get a few hours of sleep, and we'll run it back. We'll see how it feels. And then I'm going to go back to bed, take a little nap, make some dinner, get my daughter from school, that kind of stuff, daycare. And then I'll hop back on for wipes if that's what you guys want from me. And we'll do a little mini continuation of the Milkathon and see how it feels. All right? Appreciate you all. They did bring back Evil Eye, though. They did. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. It's late. I'm going to get this up on YouTube, and I will catch you all in the morning and try and get a few hours of sleep, and we'll run it back. We'll see how it feels. And then I'm going to go back to bed, take a little nap, make some dinner, get my daughter from school, that kind of stuff, daycare. And we'll do a little mini continuation of the Milkathon and see how it feels. All right? Appreciate you all. Thank you for lending me your eyeballs. Love you guys. And we'll see you real soon. Okay? Peace.